Yeah, we're out here on New Bern Avenue, one of Raleigh's busiest highways and the future location of Raleigh's newest rapid transit project. And while Charlotte struggles with the question of how to pay for new light rail, well, Raleigh's question is, why build light rail if you don't really need light rail?
In the 5-mile stretch, it does go pretty far.
Transit planning supervisor Het Patel takes us for a future ride
I would say it's going to get as close to light rail as it can.
on Raleigh's less expensive light rail alternative.
The stations are going to be level boarding again to make that easier for people to get on and off the bus.
Looks like light rail.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
It can serve as a lower cost option to provide a similar type of level of service.
Which brings us to downtown Raleigh's Union Station, which, by the way, is a lot nicer than Charlotte's Amtrak station. But we're not here on this weekday morning to hop a train. Instead, we're listening in as planners explain to train passengers about Bus Rapid Transit, or BRT.
And that one ends in Garner.
Well, I think we got some maps for you.
Oh, good. Great.
There's Garner here. This one goes to Cary.
We're trying to educate the general transit riders as well as other residents about the option of what Bus Rapid Transit will provide. It'll be running every 10 minutes and then 15 minutes during the off-peak.
Patel is surrounded by BRT route maps and diagrams of BRT stations and that BRT future video.
We have a dedicated median running transit way, which is where those dedicated bus lanes are physically separated from general purpose traffic, and again providing that higher level of transit service so that the buses can stay on time and on schedule.
And these will run right down the middle of some of Raleigh's busiest streets and highways.
They will run right down the middle of a median on one of our main corridors that has high ridership right now.
In fact, New Bern Avenue is Raleigh's busiest bus route, Route 15, where workers use the bus to get to and from their jobs downtown or here at Wake Medical Center. The Route 15 bus is also transportation for hospital doctor's appointments and for shopping trips to Walmart at New Hope Commons. And this is where Raleigh is investing almost $100 million in 10 modern new BRT stations and miles of new BRT lanes. Raleigh building first where transit riders need it most.
And our goal, I think, now is 99 miles within, by say 2030, 2033, something like that.
Tim Gardner is a transit planner for surrounding Wake County, where that 99 miles of BRT will stretch out in 4 corridors, reaching Raleigh area riders all over the map, and all for a BRT budget that's billions less than light rail.
We want to build the entire network, and the whole network has to be affordable. It's more of about making sure that you have access to getting from where you live to where you work, getting from to where you want to shop, that sort of thing. And when we were including the higher dollar projects like the light rail, that the model was running out of money. And so therefore, we're never in a situation where we're spending more money than we have, and so that's not really on the table for us.
What Raleigh is building instead is similar to this BRT system in Indianapolis that we visited last year, with light rail style stations, plug-in electric buses, and bus-only lanes replacing medians on many highways, multiple BRTs to multiple locations at a much lower cost. It's much more of a transportation project in Raleigh than anything else.
Absolutely, it's a way to manage the growth that we know is coming, right?
And Raleigh planning supervisor Bynum Walther says spreading out multiple BRTs to more Raleigh area neighborhoods also shares the positive growth that BRT brings with it.
Well, and it's really important that not only rich people who can afford to buy outright on the corridor get access to the BRT, right? Everybody should be able to, that should be attainable for every kind of household in Raleigh, that they can live close to the BRT. We have a number of projects on the go in the New Bern corridor already with affordable housing developers who are going to be building units along the New Bern BRT corridor. We know that as BRT is implemented, those corridors will become more desirable. There'll be more demand there.
Back in Charlotte, there's also demand for better bus and transit service, just not enough money right now to pay for it. Charlotte's light rail Silver Line from the eastern corridor alongside Independence Boulevard to the western corridor ending near the airport and Amazon will cost $8 billion alone, which is 3 times more than Raleigh's entire 99-mile BRT system. Would you build BRT or would you build light rail on Independence Boulevard if it was your decision today? Former CATS CEO Ron Tober chuckles at the question because for Charlotte, BRT instead of light rail is sort of back to the future.
In fact, it was part of the original plan. The original plan had bus rapid transit using these lanes that you see here on Independence. There was also bus rapid transit plan to the west corridor.
Tober warns that the current Silver Line light rail plan simply won't carry enough riders to justify the huge cost until it also generates huge South End style development next to those expensive tracks.
What I'm afraid of is that there's been more concern about development and not enough concern about ridership. And the development of the bus system has not kept pace.
That's partly why bus ridership in Charlotte has dropped 75% over the past 9 years, and why those who still ride the bus in Charlotte don't really benefit when CATS spends billions on light rail instead.
And the thing that is discouraging for me is that CATS in its bus fleet has roughly the same number of buses that we had in 2007. And a lot of the people that use the bus system are dependent on it, or it's their primary mode of transportation.
Where else would BRT work in town from your perspective?
Well, Wilkinson Boulevard, I think, is another potential location. And again, that was part of the original plan. Central Avenue could be if it's done right.
And Tober adds that, like lots of other cities, from this decades-old BRT system in Cleveland to these brand new BRT lanes in San Francisco, BRT versus light rail in Charlotte doesn't have to be an either-or decision. You don't think they're mutually exclusive?
No.
You can have BRT successful here.
Yes, and rail too. There is a leadership transition going on in the CATS, and so I think that's a big question mark as far as what the future holds.
One more thing here in Raleigh, building BRT instead of light rail doesn't just cost less and serve more passengers, it also takes less time. They'll break ground on the new BRT project here on New Bern Avenue in a couple of months, and the expected finish date is 2025, which means commuters on this busy thoroughfare will have a rapid transit option in about 2 years.
Thanks for watching, and if you don't want to miss any more great regional stories, please subscribe to our PBS Charlotte YouTube channel.